Hello, hello. Thank you so much for being on the summit, Kiara. So great to have you. How are you doing today?
Thanks. I'm great. I'm great. How are you? Thanks for having me.
Yeah, you're so welcome. I'm doing great and I'm excited to talk about just personal brand for artists from an expert. So, Kiara, you are a rock star, an artist manager and a coach and an author on top of that. So you've taken your career and you've soared into places where you're helping other artists create their dreams, which is so exciting. And I love that about what you do. And it's very connected to who people are as their personal brand. So I'm excited to get into this, especially the visuals. So I'm just going to brag on you for a second. So you you've performed all over the place, and you've been in Japan, China, US, Europe, and magazines such as Burn magazine, Japan, Metal Hammer, Rock Hard, and all these different places. And on top of that, of your personal career, you've also founded a record label and artist management company, Music Archie. Did I say it right?
Perfect.
Yes,
Yes.
Music Archie Media. Okay, like monarchy,
Yes.
but music. I
Yes,
love that.
exactly.
Yeah, you're building your
Yeah. Power
empire.
to the music.
And you founded a bunch of different bands with your music label, as well as published your book, Never Give Up, The Real Secrets of the Music Industry. So I'm excited for you to talk about just how independent artists can thrive, because you literally have done it yourself and then helped other people do it for years now. So you're the person to ask. So first of all, I just want to hear a little bit of your story. How did you get into music and then management on top of that? I'm sure there are many facets, but give me the highlight reel. How did that all happen?
Yeah. Well, funny enough, I didn't start as an independent artist. So I actually, it was kind of reverse, like the whole process from like what the majority of artists do. So I was signed to a label. I was like in my 20s, signed to a label. It was a rock metal label because that was the music that I was performing back then. And then so I had contracts basically in Europe, in the US, and Japan. They were like big labels, but they were not like major labels. Uh, and so I went through as an artist like the process of being signed to a label, and it's something that I didn't know back then because I was young, I was naive. Was, for instance, that you have to work harder when you're with the label,
Mm-hmm.
which is, it sounds
Great.
counterintuitive,
Yeah.
but that's the way it is because the label is going to do a lot for you, but there are certain things that they don't do because it's not what they do, and especially like the brand, for instance, I didn't have my brand back then. I was a rock and metal singer, but and my brand, well, in a way I had my brand. It's just that I didn't know how to nourish it, I didn't know how to communicate it. So, and that's probably why later on I moved into management and label, because I wanted to give artists my perspective of knowing what it takes, to
Yeah.
it's not only about getting a deal. And for instance, I was number 3 in Japan with one of my albums and number 15 in Italy with my EP. And you would say like, okay, wow, your career, which was awesome, by the way, but you're not, it's not that you say like, okay, I'm here, I can rest, because that's what I thought. It's actually a process from there to either keep what you have
Mm-hmm.
or grow from there. And that depends, I'm a person that tends to grow, I like to do things,
Yeah.
but even maintaining that type of success, it's not as easy as it seems. So that's why I say that you need to work harder when you're with the label, because especially when you get that type of success, um, you find yourself in like a wheel, like a hamster on a wheel, and you just keep going and going, and you don't have time to pause. I had a manager back then, but we were all growing together, the management, myself, the band, and it's like we no one knew how to approach, what was happening. So that's a little bit of what's behind the scenes, my career, because of course it's all great about the number 3 in Japan. It's great, and I'm very happy about it. But on the other side, and that's why I moved on to management later. It's because I wish I had known certain things. First off, to enjoy the type of success that I was having. I was not enjoying it because, again, I was doing things. So to enjoy, to nourish and build my brand,
Mm.
to because once you do that, then it gets easier in a way, you know. And also because it takes me from like an artist to label and management, because I sat down one day and I said, um, okay, am I gonna be an artist forever? I
Mm.
guess yes. I think
Sure.
once an artist, always an artist, once a singer, always a
Too.
singer.
Yeah.
But then will I always want to perform? Because that's another thing, these days you're like you have to perform, because royalties coming from streams and albums, you don't really sell albums anymore, so you have
Right.
to perform. And then like, okay, do I want to, especially in rock and metal, do I want to perform when I'm 60 or 70? Maybe yes, but also maybe I don't know. So I decided to give myself a choice and open a label first. And I decided to give a choice to artists that first wanted to sign with the label. From the label, then more and more became more of a management, because I realized that's what I like to do. Because the label, in the end, it's a lot of office work.
Right.
You have your release, you plan, you do this, you do that. What I like to do is helping artists building themselves and building their career and being there with them through thick and thin, and going through the process and the hardships, and so that's what I found I'm really passionate about. And so my management and coaching part kind of took over. It was not really a choice that I made, just setting the label aside. It's just that I became more passionate and I saw more and more artists being interested in my services as a manager more than a label. And also because, quite frankly, I do believe that these days you can totally be independent without a label,
Yeah.
but you need a coach and you need someone that takes you through the different parts that a label, as I mentioned before, cannot do for you.
Right.
So, and that's kind of going not against the system, but almost against what I built before with the label. I encourage artists today to like stay independent unless you find a record deal that is really 100% for you and for what you need at that moment. Stay independent, because there's so many tools today that artists can use to be independent.
Mhm.
And that's how I went into coaching as well. I studied a lot, because my as for the studies, I have a master's in linguistics, which has not a whole lot to do in with the music business. But then I enrolled online, took a lot of classes, like college classes, that you can take aside, like as different, like for my curricular. And then of course, being an artist and learning in the field, that's what I say, and going through different things, because I don't believe there's any type of studies that can make you become an artist manager. You can learn things, but then it's go through it, and live it.
Yeah, exactly. There's nothing that replaces the real world experience of doing it yourself. But
Absolutely.
it is great to have someone like you who's a coach who already knows, I already went through this, this is the mistakes, right? Why make the mistakes, when you can have a shortcut from knowledge and wisdom. And that's really why I put together this summit, this platform, is how can we help artists shortcut the mistakes to their successes, right? So speaking of that, what would you say your mission is with your coaching? if you could put it into words, like a
Yeah.
short phrase.
My mission is to empower artists with attention to mental health as well. Because I forgot to mention before, I'm a huge mental health advocate.
Yeah.
I've been through burnout, depression, anxiety attacks, panic attacks. I've been through therapy. That was for me like the only way to go out of a major burnout and depression. I couldn't move out of bed.
Wow.
So that's how severe that was. But that's why I'm sorry. That's why I know what happens to a lot of artists and a lot of people in the industry,
Yeah.
either burnout, depression, because we're constantly under pressure.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
Also, I might say, but I'm totally biased, we're more sensitive than the majority of people, like everyone in
I
the music industry.
Yeah, I
We're
think so.
all more sensitive. We're all
A lot of
biased
highly
here.
intuitive creatives, like, yeah.
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 Yeah, and we're all biased here because we're all in the music industry,
Sure.
so I can say this. I'm biased, but I think we're very sensitive. So that is a beautiful thing, but at the same time it has some downsides as well. And so absolutely empowering artists and making them successful, and when I say successful, quote unquote, because there's a lot of meanings that we can give to the word successful. We believe that successful, and I believe this is very important, we believe that successful is selling millions of copies, streams, selling out arenas. That's success. That is success.
Yeah.
But we should not forget that being a successful artist also means enjoying what we have, especially if an artist can live out of their music,
Right. Right.
because we have this tendency of considering, and but this is cultural, I believe, as well, because I've been through this as an artist myself. When you talk to someone and they say, what do you do, like, oh, I'm an artist, I'm a singer, like, oh, I haven't seen you on TV. And when they say TV, for instance, they mean like, for I'm Italian, like Italian TV. In reality, for instance, while I was not on Italian TV, I was on Japanese TV, but people in Italy didn't know. So first off, there's a different perception of what success is. You might not be successful in your own country, but you can be successful outside. But also, you can totally be successful even if you're not on TV,
Right.
because it's not, let's think about this. We would never ask an attorney, just the first job that comes to mind, are you successful if they're on TV, or if they're, the super high priced attorney representing, I don't know, Michael Jackson, or the big stars. That's one type of attorney. And then there's an attorney that doesn't have super successful clients, but they're successful, because
Right.
they're their job. And we should consider the music industry the same way as any other industry.
Right.
So, and especially people that are here, I want to tell them, like, you're all successful because you're taking steps
Right.
in your success. So, and if we think about that, that goes into our mental health, and
Hmm.
it's good to see things in perspective, which I think personally is the right perspective, because
Yeah.
we ask too much out of ourselves.
I think it's really empowering to know that you can define your own success, right? You can define
Mhm.
what that looks like for you, and it doesn't have to be what everyone else thinks of it as, right? And we get to educate people too. We don't have to be on TV to be very successful independent musicians. We can have our own email lists and our own following, and that's very successful as well. So I love that. We're going to go into our VIP section, talk about your free gift, and then go from there. But I'd love to know what's one like tip or lead into the VIP section that you would like to leave everyone with. What is that one thing that you would say about personal branding, the visuals, all of that, and then we can expand on it in VIP.
Yeah, I believe it's understand who you are as a person and then as an artist, and then you'll understand your success.
Hmm. Well, that's
Da-da-da.
deep.
Da-da-da.
Man, that's a journey. Uh, okay, what's one step to understanding yourself that you walk people through?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Oh yeah, what's one step that you take artists through to help understand themselves? Like, what's a good question to ask yourself to start that journey or something like
What
that?
are you passionate about? And that's besides music. Because, of course,
Mm,
musicians are going to say, like, music. Besides music,
yeah.
what is that one or two, three things that makes you feel good? We
Mm,
all have something. We all have something. And we do it, we just don't realize that we do it, or there's something. And also there's something, it's something that I use on myself to understand my brand, like where do you spend most of your money on?
ooh, that's good.
Because in the end, eh, I mean, that makes sense, right? If we spend a lot of money, of course, on music, then it's like, for me, out of the music, I have this huge, it's more of a passion, it's not a passion, it's craziness sometimes. Beauty products.
Yeah.
I like
Yeah.
to try
Oh,
things. I like to try things. It's not just it's not makeup, it's skincare, all the little things, samples.
yeah.
I one day I decided to get rid of all my samples and use them all. I think it was during the pandemic. Um, I had a ton. I didn't buy lotions for I don't know for how long, but and I always ask samples because I like to try these things. So I told myself, like, you know what, where do I spend most of my money on? Music and then travels,
Mhm.
which to me, it's not really money that you spend, it's an investment on
Right.
growth. But still,
Mhm.
uh, that's the way it is. And then beauty products. And then realizing and that's why, because I like this visual part
Mhm.
in life, the aesthetics of things, that then I help artists with their visuals
Right.
as well.
Okay. Well, that's exciting because I'm thinking about things I'm passionate about now, and we get to expand on this in VIP. So definitely, if you want to hear more about this, we'll upgrade to VIP so you can hear Kira's teaching on this. We have a slideshow. We have different questions to walk through to arrive at your personal brand and your visuals in particular. So if you're like me who gets confused about the aesthetics and like which color do I pick and all those different things, definitely want to tune into VIP. Now you have a free gift for us, Kiara.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
Yeah, so I wrote a book in 2019. It's called Never Give Up: The Real Secrets of the Music Industry. And inside this book, it's available both on paperback and ebook, and I'm going to give it as ebook for free. I go through some of the things about personal branding. I go through some of the false myths about the music industry. So something like I mentioned one before, like once you have a label, your job is done, stuff like that. And I go through it and I explain why. And in this book, there's also interviews of major artists in the rock and metal scene, because of course that's where I come from. These artists like sold out arenas, and I talk also to their managers and have their take, on a lot of things, and a lot of the things that most artists believe are true, while in reality things are a little bit different, especially as you go deeper into the music industry.
Cool. How cool. I'm excited to hear about that. So definitely download Kiara's free gift so that you can hear from these amazing artists who have sold out arenas. And the fact that this is why I love interviews, the fact that you've interviewed people from all different backgrounds and there's always a theme, right? There's always something that works for a lot of people. And that's what we want to pay attention to as we're defining our own success is what are the patterns, and what
Mhm.
do we relate with personally. So definitely download Kiara's free gift. And if people want to get a hold of you or get in touch with you, how can they do that?
I'm on all socials. I just recently opened Threads as well.
Okay.
I was very reluctant for a little bit, but it's like at Chiara Letizia, the way they probably are gonna see it spelled. It's as simple as that. So on Facebook, Instagram, they can DM me. I reply to everyone, and if I can point them in the right direction, maybe if I'm not, the person that can point them, or if I cannot work with them, I can point them in the right direction, and they can ask me things. I don't know. Yeah,
Okay.
at
All right.
Chiara Letizia.
Okay, perfect. All right, Kiara, thank you so much for being on.
Thank you.
If you want to hear more from Kiara, go into more in-depth teaching about your personal brand and specifically your visuals, definitely jump on VIP. Otherwise, see you in VIP.
Yeah.